Usually I have something important to say. I mean, not usually.
Hard Rock.
If you're a Trump Republican and you're listening to this show, I know you have definitely gotten lost on the internet.
Hard Rock.
You dipshit are the traitor.
Hard Rock.
The most inappropriate white trash I have ever seen this side of the Jersey Shore.
Hard Rock Lunchbox.
Greetings and salutations. It's time for yet another edition of the Hard Rock Lunchbox, where everyone's mad at you when you're a minute late. So I think that probably says a lot about things, because I know I spend most of my life hoping and wishing that other things are multiple minutes late. But it is me. I have returned. It is officially 12:01 in the PM, which means it is time for the Hard Rock Lunchbox. Now, I say 12:01 because that's the time it is. The show technically starts at noon, but honestly, I'm kind of starting this show like you have no idea how much stuff I have to do to get this show off the ground. Like, it might look like this is a complete clusterfuck, and yes, you'd be right, but it still takes a minute or two to put on this show. I mean, it's just long gone are the days where I could just click a button and be on the Hard Rock Lunchbox. Now it's like the top 20, I gotta film that, I gotta record the audio over there, I gotta make sure I turn this thing off, otherwise I don't get any sound at all. And this thing right here, this little 2-track button, man, if I don't turn that off, like, everything comes off the rails. Not like East Palestine, Ohio off the rails, but, similar to that. And the biggest problem is that 2-track, when that button is on, it means I've been working on new material, which I was. And so, like, that's like the one switch that I need to switch between my production, like, Hard Rock Lunchbox nonsense, and my Logic Studio, which is what I record with. So sometimes I forget that. So if you ever hear me be like, oh man, the whole show didn't record, it's because of that one button. What are you going to do? I know what I'm going to do. I did some homework. I got stuff here. But first, let's get to housekeeping, shall we? The brand new Top 20 is out. I appreciate anybody and everybody that watches it, likes, subscribes, comments, and all that other stuff. We are all collectively trying to grow the Strangerhood TV channel and the Strangerhood TV brand. But I would appreciate people that, especially if you miss the Top 20 here, like, at least check it out. Like, usually I have something important to say. I mean, not usually, but sometimes I have something important to say. And honestly, you won't know if it's important until you listen to it. And honestly, it could be important. You could be like, that's not important. But that's just a matter of opinion. And that's for me to decide, because I'm the host. The top 20 that's out this week is from last week's show, last week's Hard Rock Lunchbox, and I talk about how we can, ideas to help out people like Adriana, the young teenager that was beaten in high school, and then the video went viral, and then she took her own life because of it. And then we talked about advances in dishwasher technology. For those of you playing at home, I did install the new dishwasher, so it does have a third rack on it, which is how I was impressed. It's called a toss and go rack, which is like, I guess when you're too lazy to put stuff in the slots where dishes go. Like, I don't know. I'm not really up on all the new dishwasher jargon. I know it was pointed out to me that a lot of people, their dishwasher are just their own two hands. And let me just be quite clear. That's exactly how I grew up. Spent plenty of time with that. But honestly, with a family of 5 plus, I can't keep up with that and won't. Like, honestly, I would rather just pay a dishwasher to do it. And I don't care if it's a Whirlpool or if it's some teenager that just wants a job. You want to send your kid over to wash my dishes twice a day? Like, no problem. I wonder how that would break out. If I paid somebody does anybody got a calculator? Maybe? I don't know. Okay. So maybe, hold on. I can bring up a calculator. Talk about, like, conveniences. All right, calculator. I honestly don't know what we paid for the dishwasher, but let's just say it was $500. So if I wanted to pay, how long do you think it takes a teenager to wash a dishwasher load of dishes? How long do you think that would be? Chat? Anybody? Nobody? I'm thinking it would probably take them a solid 20 minutes. Right? Does that sound good? 20 minutes per. 20 minutes per. All right. So I'm going to call that 0.3 hours? 20 minutes? So let's say we do 7. Let's say we do 10 loads a week. This is advanced math here on the top 20, by the way. So let's say we do 10 loads a week at 20 minutes a shot for a teenage dishwasher. So that's 10 times. Where's the timeses? I see exponents, but I don't see a times. Oh, times. Sorry, might be 10 times. What are we saying? Like 15 an hour? Like let's be, because that's minimum wage in New York, right? 50. That's 150 a week. So that's 3 weeks. That's like 3.5 weeks, and I'd get to the price of a dishwasher. Yeah, man, I gotta say, I'm kind of all for, let's get dishwashers. Let's automate people right out of business. Sorry. That was such a waste of time. I apologize completely on behalf of the top 20 and the Hard Rock Lunchbox. Boy, was that not worth it. I thought that was going to be much closer, but nope, I was wrong. What a surprise. Won't even be the first time today, I'm sure. So what else is going on in the world? So check that out. I was talking about my kidney stones because that's always fun. Everybody loves that. When we do DJ's Kidney Stone Moment, the new hot segment on NBC. But yeah, check out the top 20. Don't forget to like it and comment on it and all that other good stuff. Bacon's my podcast. As far as I can tell, they're putting 7 shows out a night now. I can't be quite sure, but I know that Discussion and Drinks is on Wednesday. That's my favorite one because I like when they just sit and they just like talk shit and stuff like that. I did have a lot to actually talk about the one they were talking about tribalism, and I guess that was like 2 weeks ago. I had so much to add, and I just never got to it last week, so maybe I'll get to it this week. I have other stuff to talk about because Republicans are doing some very Republican things, and I've been off politics for a little while, but I'm gonna get you with like a 3-banger, and that's not as dirty as it sounds, but I am gonna put that in your general direction. But check it out, and maybe go back and watch the tribalism in music thing on Bacon Is My Podcast, and then maybe we can discuss it next week, or we can discuss it later in the show. I haven't quite decided. But they have an interview with Cody. They have their 7 questions with Cody, and I think it's their full. I don't know when. I write this stuff down, and I don't even know what it means. 7 questions with Cody. And the full interview was Monday. Yeah, that's what it is. With Hinder, Cody from Hinder. Discussion Drinks yesterday. And they're doing the Twitch live stream. I don't know if that's on again tonight, but you can check that out. I guess the link is probably. I would imagine you can find everything from baconismypodcast.com. And if Mike is listening, he can text me and correct me and tell me where to find all that. But I'm not sure. Bunch of stuff. Just check it out. I think Waterbury's got a new one too. I saw his face, but I did not have a chance to read the video or take a look or read the description or watch the video. So I'm on that. So that's probably it for housekeeping. Our next show is next Friday. That's a week and a day away. I will tell you, we have not moved a lot of tickets, so if you know people that want to come, please just hit me up or just go ahead and buy them and stuff like that. I don't expect many trips for us out to Patchogue this year, so that might be probably it. I don't know for sure. I know that the shows that I'm working on are very central in Long Island, and sorry for Easterners, but if I can't get people to go to shows out there, I can't keep booking shows out there, and that's kind of where I'm at. So if anybody wants to go, hit me up. You can Venmo me over at GDavy, That'll be me, and we'll get you some tickets. Or you can go to rebel9.com and get your tickets there. Or you can pay at the door, but it's going to be a lot more money. So don't do that. But hopefully we will see you next Friday. It's going to be fun. We have not played a show since December. Yada, yada. So what else is going on in the world? Like, I don't even really know where to start. Like, there's a couple things. Like, first of all, like, the misinformation campaign coming out of Arizona with the election deniers is always funny and always fun, and there's always a lot of fruit there. So I have that because there was a big Republican fuck up there. That's a good one. Marjorie Taylor Greene opened her mouth and said something stupid. I know I couldn't believe it. I hate her so much, man. I really don't hate people, but like, she is literally the epitome of everything that is wrong, or everything that bothers me in this country. And it includes some racism, it includes some sexism, it definitely includes some, smartism, I wish she would just shut up, and I wish everybody she represents would just shut up and stuff. I mean, I don't know if anybody caught they've been doing guest hosts of The Daily Show. Sarah Silverman did her week last week. Holy shit, was that funny. She was even talking about how most people on other parties, talk about tribalism, right? Most people on other parties think the country would be better off if people on the opposing party just died. And she laughed about it, but I was like, Now, I don't want masses of people. Well, that's not true. I'm not sure that I don't want masses of people to die, but, like, I'm not going on record as saying anything like that. I'm just saying that people like Marjorie Taylor Greene are just hella bad for the country and bad for people in general. And she really needs to go. And the fact that society hasn't figured out a way to muzzle somebody like that is just unbelievable to me, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But first, I'd like to get to East Palestine, which should be Palestine, but whatever. It's East Palestine, Ohio, and talk about the train derailments going on there, which, first of all, I think is absolutely awful. We don't really have this kind of stuff here on Long Island, but we definitely have it in the Northeast. So don't forget the Northeast is, like, big for, like, coal company and chemicals and stuff like that. But if anybody's ever hit not a commercial, what would it be called? Like, it's like not a private, but like is it a commercial? It's not a passenger. Maybe it is a commercial train in the South or in the West. Like, dude, you ever hit a train? You ever hit a passenger train? And you're like, damn, like, I hit this train, I'm going to be stuck here for 2 minutes. Anybody ever do that? Like, especially here in Long Island, New Jersey, and stuff like that. You hit trains, and it's like, well, there's 2 or 3 minutes. I'll see what's going on Instagram, right? That's, like, a lot of common understanding in where we live here on the island. I am here to tell you that when you hit those trains, or the commercial trains, like the non-passenger trains, outside, especially when you're, like, in Georgia and Florida, or even, deeper in the Midwest, dude, those cars are hundreds of cars long. And they take 20 minutes. Like, it is no joke. Like, when you see those tracks go down, if it's going to be like an oil train, just turn around. Just turn around and don't even run the errand you want to run. And that's why people like us, when we're looking at this train derailment in Ohio, is like, holy crap, look at the size of that train derailment. And it wasn't even that big. It wasn't that big because it was a shit train. Like, this was known to be a bad train. So it wasn't even, like, as big as some of these trains go. And yeah, they screwed up all over the place because nobody wants to regulate the train industry. Like, even Trump himself, like, backed off the thing in 2018 where they were going to require that trains have, like, a pneumatic braking system, like something from the 20th century. And he backed off because big business was like, we can't have that. It's going to cost too much. And it is. It is going to cost too much to refit all these train cars with it. But, like, how many times have you seen train accidents in the past 5 years? Like, big ones. Big ones from other states that make your news. Like, how many times have you seen that? Like, it's more than one. It's definitely more than this one. We had some coal ones and some oil ones. Like, we have this kind of stuff all the time because these trains derail because their safety technology is, like, from the 70s and sometimes even older. Like, this one, the way trains break now is a car stops one at a time. Like, you all can't stop together? Like, seriously? Like, I can pull, like, an electric Volvo back on, and just let it go like one of those race cars, and you can't stop all the cars on the train? And what if you really needed to stop? You know what the answer to that is? Oh, well, that's real world stuff. But what I wanted to talk about, first of all, by the way, whenever you talk about how people want smaller government, remind them about this, because all people are doing now is bitching about how these trains were allowed to operate like this. And the best part was it wasn't even categorized as a hyper chemical, hyper dangerous train, because not all the cars had hazardous chemicals. So it wasn't like a high hazard train. They had some high hazard cars, but it's not a high hazard train because not all the cars had high hazards. Like, dude, seriously? Like, that's your definition? But remember, when people complain about less government, they want less government means less government oversight. Less government oversight means these companies get to do whatever they want to do because nobody's holding them to account. So that's your little takeaway from this train derailment. People are complaining that somebody should have done something about it. Then stop voting for less government, because this is what government does. And also what government does, if you happen to be a Republican government, and this is my personal favorite thing coming out of the whole train derailment, people in Ohio, especially in East Palestine, are losing their goddamn minds that Biden went to Ukraine and didn't come to East Palestine to, like, check stuff out. I want to just tell people something right now, like all you stupid people in the audience, of which I have very few stupid people in my audience, but I want to be quite clear. The Ukraine trip was in plans for, like, weeks and months anyway. But even if it wasn't, on the first day of this tragedy in Ohio, the Democratic President Joe Biden called the Republican governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, and said, anything you need, we will help. We will do whatever it takes to help you out. Mike DeWine refused any help. The Republican governor of Ohio refused any help from the federal government. So now I hope all of the people in Ohio that voted for Mike DeWine have all sorts of fun problems so that they can remember every election year that they voted for the asshat that turned down all of the EPA help, all of the federal money, all the resources of the federal government to fix this problem. Because why? Because Mike DeWine doesn't like Democrats. That's a good reason. That's a really good reason for livestock and people and all these other Ohio entities to just up and die, because Mike DeWine doesn't like Democrats and he's like trying to like be a badass. Well, he just screwed the pooch. So if you hear anybody, anyone at all, blaming anything on the federal government, remind them that their Republican governor, Mike DeWine, refused any help from the federal government because I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know if you guys can remember this, but during Superstorm Sandy, there was a picture of then Republican governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, with Barack Obama basically surveying the shore of Jersey that had gotten destroyed by Superstorm Sandy. And Chris Christie was ridiculed for that. But you know what that dude did? He basically said, federal government, this is what we do. This is how we work together. Federal government's going to come in and help my state of New Jersey fix stuff. So he did not play the partisan bullshit card. He did the right thing for his state, and the Republicans mocked him for it. If you need any more proof that the establishment and the Trump Republicans are just completely wrong for this country, like, I don't know what it's going to take. But fortunately, I brought some. If you're a Trump Republican and you're listening to this show, I know you have definitely gotten lost on the internet, and I am so sorry. But I do want to point out to the rest of my listening audience what is actually happening in your fringe world of your limited mental state and capabilities, especially in the far reaches of dipshit Georgia, I assume is where she's from. Because this past week, the subgenius that Marjorie Taylor Greene is actually called for secession. Which, let's be clear, the secession of the states and the red states that she's talking about, 100% I'm fine with. Like, literally I'm fine with. Like, I think we'll lose Florida and I think we'll lose Texas. I've been trying to get rid of Florida for years. Texas, I think, could be saved because they just got to get rid of Governor Abbott. But, like, all the rest of those red states, not a problem. Not a problem at all. As far as I can tell, you add nothing to the community. I mean, like, maybe food, but, like, we'll still buy food from you. Like, if we want to go back to that, like, pre-Civil War economy when all you guys did was make cotton and we did all the other work, like, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm totally fine with that. But, yeah, so super subgenius here. This is a direct quote from, like, one of her tweets. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican from Georgia, and all-around pain in the ass and stupid person. Quote, we need a national divorce. This coming from somebody that cheated on her husband a couple times, is going through a divorce, so I guess she's kind of an expert. We need a national divorce. We need to separate by red states and blue states and shrink the federal government. Everyone I talk to says this. From the sick and disgusting woke culture issues shoved down our throats to the Democrats' traitorous America last policies, we are done. I just want to be quite clear when we're talking about traitorous. You are calling for the secession of the United States when you have sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution. You, dipshit, are the traitor. You should be kicked out of Congress tomorrow. You should also be arrested for treason. And I don't know why none of those things are happening. But I want it quite clear to anyone and everyone in my listening audience that a Republican member of Congress sitting on the Homeland Security Oversight Committee has called for the secession of red states from the Union, from America. Literally what Mississippi did when they wanted to keep their slaves. No one cares? No one thinks that's a big deal? I feel like we have some issues to work out, and I think we could do that if people like Marjorie Taylor Greene would just shut the fuck up for half a minute and let the intelligent adults in the room speak. But no, she's just yelling and catcalling, just the most inappropriate white trash I have ever seen this side of the Jersey Shore. And she just keeps going and going and going, and people love her. She's a firebrand. She's an asshole. And if you think that that's cool in politics or even in common life, you're an asshole too. And you heard it here first, second, third, 1 million on the box. And I will go toe-to-toe with absolutely anybody that thinks anything different. You want to pack up your little shit corner of Georgia and go home? Please do. Because what we don't need is people like you and people that don't add anything to the beauty that is this country. People that can't even read the Constitution and understand what it means. And honestly, just making and souring the constant discourse in this country. It is people like you, and we don't need you. We don't want you. And I would be personally happy, in the immortal words of whoever answered that poll, just up and die and make everything better for the rest of us. Anybody else tired? I'm tired. Who wants some music? Yeah, me too.